Netflix has followed our roadmap almost perfectly. In our first analysis, we called Netflix to fall towards $65, and we pretty much got there. In our last episode, I told you Netflix could produce a relief rally towards $85, and we just ran up as high as $81.16. But now, Netflix has reached a level that could decide what happens next. If the bulls can break through this resistance, I see a path towards $88, $93, and potentially even $100. But if this rally gets rejected, we could be headed straight back towards the low $70 and possibly $65 again. So in this episode, I'm breaking down exactly what Netflix needs to do next. Let's start off here with the monthly chart, and right now the price of Netflix is at $79.59. And as you can see, for July, we dipped down below the 50 moving average. We were able to recover back up, and now for August, we're getting a green engulfing candle. Now we still do have 7 days and 23 hours before this candle closes, but it's starting to look bullish. I was telling you guys how we're far away from this 21 moving average, which is basically at $99.72. When we're too far away from the 21 moving average, we either have to go towards it or go sideways and wait for the 21 moving average to catch up to price. It looks like right now we're going towards it. We see that the stochastics RSI are double bottoming here. We're starting to point up. The RSI is still below the 50. I would like to get above that, but we are also pointing up. So it's looking a little bit more bullish. Now, we do have two patterns here. The first one is a bearish pattern, head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And this could pretty much bring us down to this 200 moving average, which is currently at $31.27. Maybe we won't make it all the way down there, but it's possible right now. We still haven't broken the neckline. We would have to get below pretty much the 50 moving average, and that would break the neckline. That will start to get dangerous. In order to negate this head and shoulder pattern, we have to close candles above this 21 moving average, basically at $100. If we could do that, I think this head and shoulder pattern is negated. But bullishly, we are kind of in a falling wedge here. As you can see, we've been tracing this falling wedge, and it looks like we want to start breaking out. This measure move ultimately takes us to about $140. So we could get back above the 21 moving average, negate that head and shoulder pattern. We would already have some of the measure move for the falling wedge, and then we could possibly continue there and make the rest of the measured move. So we're still indecisive in what could happen, but I'm leaning a little bit more bullish since the stochastics RSI have reset. Now we head over to the weekly time frame. Last time we was talking about losing this 200 moving average. Since then we were able to rebound. We have about 5 green candles in a row on the weekly, but right now we have the 21 moving average at $82.86 holding us here as resistance. If we could break above this, get back above the 50 moving average, especially on the weekly time frame, that would be very bullish for us, and make it to this 80 moving average at $100. This could actually be some type of a double bottom here, and the measure move to this again could take us above $100, $120, even $140. So this is still in play, but this is going to be the gateway. First, we need to get back above this 21 moving average. The stochastics RSI still have room to continue to go up. We could still drag here, so we still have the potential. Let's see what ends up happening within the next 2 weeks if we could break above this. On the 3-day time frame, stochastics are getting a little toppy. We did get above the 50 on the RSI, but we're kind of rolling over here, and we haven't been able to get back above this 50 moving average. We need to do that, and we also need to get back above this 200 moving average at $90 in order to remain bullish. Let's see if we can make it back at least above this 200 moving average before this starts to roll over. On the daily time frame, here looks a little bearish. We got some bearish divergence. We've been dragging up here for a while. This looks like it wants to roll over. The RSI kind of looks like it wants to roll over, and we really haven't been able to fully get above with strength on this 80 moving average, which is at $79.18. Ultimately, we have to get back above this 200 moving average. That's at $88.42. If we could break above this 200 moving average, hold this now as support, then we could start making that run towards $100. So it will be interesting to see what happens once this stochastics RSI fully resets and we start pumping back up. Are we still above the 21 moving average? If we are, that kind of shows me strength that we can make it back to the 200 moving average and possibly get above it. 4-hour time frame, again looking bearish. Bearish divergence on the RSI, bearish divergence here on the stochastics RSI. We're rolling over on both. We're very close to the 200 moving average, but you guys know, for me, as long as we're below the 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame, I cannot be a bull. I have to remain a bear. We are kind of flagging out. If we do break out, that'll probably just give us the move to the 200 moving average. Again, we need to get above this 200 moving average and stay above it. That's currently at $83. On the 1-hour time frame, stochastics are starting to reset, but we could still drag here for a little bit. I'm liking that we're kind of bouncing off of this 50 on the RSI. Hopefully we could continue to point up, but let's see, we're starting to lose this 21 moving average. We're heading towards this 50 moving average at $78. So right now, guys, overall, I'm feeling a little bit more neutral to kind of bullish on Netflix. I think that maybe we can make a run towards $100 $100. But honestly, our first line of offense here would be to break above this 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. That's at $83. And then ultimately, I want to see us break above $88 on the 200 moving average on the daily. If we could do that, then I think we could head towards $100, and then eventually maybe even make it to 140. But first things first, let's see if we can make it back above this 200 moving average on the daily, and then that will definitely bring us higher prices. All right, guys, so that's the breakdown. If this gave you clarity or a setup to watch, do me a favor, like, drop a comment, subscribe, and if you have a stock or crypto you want me to go over, drop it in the comment section. This is FlexCandle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. Catch you on the next chart.